Welcome back to the new video of Demon Slayer Episode 2. I hope you have watched the last video. The episode starts with Tamayo and Yuichiro. Yuichiro is cleaning the books on the first floor of the house when he feels a strange sensation. Then, Master Ubuyashiki's crow arrives, informing Tamayo that there is a child in Demon Slayer Corps who is researching the demon's body. Crow discusses about Shinobu, and then he asks Tamayo and Yuichiro to assist in taking care of Nezuko together, suggesting them to stay in Ubuyashiki Mansion. Tamayo is surprised to hear this. After Crow leaves, Yuichiro rushes to Tamayo and tells her that all preparations to leave from there have been completed. Tamayo declines, saying, "Now that Nezuko can go out in the sunlight, a significant change has occurred. Maybe this change started a long time ago." Then we see a scene from Tamayo's memories where both Tamayo and Muzan are standing in front of Yoriichi. Seeing Yoriichi reminds Tamayo of Tanjiro. Afterward, Tamayo tells Yuichiro, "We are moving from here, but we are going somewhere else. I will explain all the research results to you. You'll have to help me in the research. Maybe now we'll move for the last time." Yuichiro is also stunned to hear this. Tamayo tells Yuichiro that they are going to meet Ubuyashiki at Demon Slayer's headquarters. In the next scene, Tanjiro receives a letter from Ubuyashiki. The letter from Master Ubuyashiki states, "I hope you're doing well. I wanted to talk to you myself, but due to my health, I can't go anywhere right now. This is a very precious time. We need to work together. Can you go and talk to Giyu? He always lags behind. Can you understand Giyu so he can move forward?" Reading Ubuyashiki's letter, Tanjiro starts thinking about Giyu and decides to meet him. The next morning, Tanjiro heads out to meet Giyu. We see that Tanjiro's leg is still not fully healed. He encounters Aoi first, who asks if he's going for the Hashira training. Tanjiro responds negatively but mentions he has to meet someone. Later, Tanjiro asks Aoi that how to help someone who always ends up being alone. Aoi admits she doesn't know much about it and confesses that if she were in that position, she would prefer to be alone. After a short pause, Aoi tells Tanjiro to wait for a moment and leaves to get something. Tanjiro contemplates that talking to Giyu will be very difficult. Afterward, Aoi returns, having packed Tanjiro's food, and tells him that it's for him and the person he's going to meet. Despite any circumstances, he should eat properly to keep his body and mind healthy. Then Tanjiro thanks Aoi and heads to Giyu's house. In the next scene, we see Giyu at his house, where he is sitting peacefully. However, then he hears Tanjiro's voice asking to enter the house. Giyu thinks he'll shout for a while, and then he'll leave on his own. But after a while, Tanjiro enters the house, prompting Giyu to be surprised. After that, Tanjiro and Giyu start talking. Tanjiro informs Giyu that all the Hashira have started their training. Giyu replies that he already knows about it. Tanjiro then asks if Giyu would teach him something once he gets permission to join the training after 7 days. However, Giyu declines outright. Tanjiro asks why Giyu seems angry, to which Giyu replies that he's angry because Tanjiro hasn't mastered water breathing yet. He explains that changing or creating a new style based on water breathing is quite common because water breathing is very similar to the basic breathing style. Tanjiro apologizes and mentions that he talked to Urokodaki, who said that changing the breathing style or creating a new one based on it is common. This surprises Giyu, who then leaves. Tanjiro remembers Master Ubuyashiki's words and decides to stay with Giyu. Tanjiro places food outside Giyu's room and waits. When Giyu comes out later, he finds Tanjiro sleeping there. Giyu is pleased and says, "Well, at least you've eaten." After that, Tanjiro starts following Giyu day and night, wherever he goes, which annoys Giyu a lot. Eventually, Giyu thinks, if I just talk to Tanjiro once, maybe he'll leave me alone. Then Giyu starts talking to Tanjiro and tells him that he didn't pass the final selection. There was another boy named Sabito who, like Giyu, had lost his family to a demon during the final selection. Both Giyu and Sabito were 13 years old at the time, and because they were both alone, they quickly became friends. Sabito was very strong and also a kind boy who knew a lot about justice. That year, during the selection, only Sabito died among the apprentices. Sabito had easily defeated all the demons in that selection, which allowed everyone else to pass. However, Giyu was injured right at the beginning of that selection, but Sabito saved him. Giyu tells Tanjiro that even though he didn't kill a single demon, he still passed because he somehow survived. He admits that he's not worthy of becoming a water Hashira like the others, as he's not as brave as them. He feels different and believes he has no right to stay in the Demon Slayer Corps, so he should receive training from a Hashira. He tells Tanjiro not to waste his time on him and leaves. After hearing Giyu's words, Tanjiro thinks, "I can understand how painful it is for someone to lose someone. You must be thinking right now that it would have been better if I had died instead of Sabito." But when someone saves you and dies in the process, that feeling is much worse. Tears start welling up in Tanjiro's eyes. Tanjiro reflects further. Sabito is the same boy who trained me on the mountain. It feels strange now that the one who trained was Sabito. Then, if he hadn't died during the final selection, he would be Gyu's hope now. He helped everyone during the final selection, while I was only saving myself. If Sabito had survived, he would surely have become a great swordsman. Perhaps that's why Gyu regrets that why didn't he died instead of him. Then Tanjiro says I can understand that feeling, because I've felt it too. When Rengoku saved us at the last moment, I also thought, if only I had died instead. Maybe one day Rengoku would have succeeded in defeating Muzan, but then Inosuke made me understand. I should also try to make Gyu understand. He must have faced many problems during his journey, which made him strong, and that's why he's a Hashira now. I don't know what to say to Gyu, but I'll definitely tell him something. After hearing Tanjiro's words, Gyu stops. He remembers something Sabito once said when he slapped Gyu and warned him not to talk about dying again, or their friendship would end. Sabito was going to marry Gyu's sister next day, but still, he sacrificed himself to save Gyu from a demon. So Gyu shouldn't waste his sacrifice. His sister gave her life for him, so he has to live. Gyu puts his hand on his cheek, lost in thought. I still remember Sabito's slap today. How can I forget all that? Then he thinks, I wanted to keep those memories away because whenever I remembered them, my tears wouldn't stop, and I would feel so sad that I couldn't do anything. So I wanted to keep those memories away. Afterwards, Gyu apologizes to his sister and Sabito. Seeing Gyu so serious, Tanjiro wonders if he said something wrong. Gyu was already very troubled. Did I rub salt on his wounds? Then Tanjiro thinks, maybe if we have a food eating contest, Gyu might feel a little better, and he might help me with training too. Gyu doesn't talk much anyway, so an eating competition would be best for us. Tanjiro keeps thinking to himself. Suddenly Gyu says, Tanjiro, forgive me. I'll definitely participate in training. But then Tanjiro tells Gyu, let's have a food eating contest. Gyu is surprised at where this came from. Then they both start the contest. Gyu asks Tanjiro if he has seen Shinobu and what she's doing. Tanjiro has no idea, and in the next scene, they see Shinobu trying to calm herself down, but not being very successful. This makes her angry and she kicks a can. She says she's going to win Hashira's training. Can she join their training after that? To which Shinobu says she's not participating in Hashira training this time. Now Kanao is worried. Seeing this, Shinobu calls her over and says she wanted to train with her. Master, you've started expressing yourself more than before. This is the right time. I want to tell you how we can defeat that demon who hurt my sister Kanai. With this, the episode ends. Tell us how you liked this episode and how you found our explanation. We like comments.